Hello, all you gorgeous guys and gals. Thanks for tuning in. I have a great show for you today because we welcome our first guest. Though I hesitate to call this person a guest because of how long I've known them. Today, I talk to the Director of Business Development for Blackpoint Cyber, one of the nation's leading cybersecurity firms. I know, I'm a mortgage and real estate guy. What am I doing talking to someone from a cybersecurity firm? Well, you might be surprised at how content creation is taking us on an eerily similar journey, even though our industries might seem radically different at face value. So, Powerman 5000 style, this is what it's like when worlds collide. So what do you want to talk about?
Honestly, dude, short answer, I have no idea.
Okay.
I mean, really I'm kind of like ready, fire, aiming right now. You know what I mean? Like I'm taking
That's
like
cool.
the super minor things that I already
Let's
know.
lay a little foundation for all of my listener in case we
Right.
decide to to
Sure.
publish this, which we're really on the fence about right now. But we'll figure it out.
Exactly.
I
Right.
figure if one person can get something out of this conversation, it might be worth publishing.
It
But
could be terrible.
I'm here with Justin Weller. A lot of people know him from church, from work at Blackpoint Cyber. I've known this fool since 7th grade. So you go ahead and introduce yourself however you want to be introduced as of 2022, because I'd butcher it. I just know you as Justin.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good. I mean, my name is Justin Weller. I've done a whole lot of sales, whole lot of marketing. Love me some Jesus. Have never done any content creation in my life. So when you have the ability to have a contact that you've known for I don't even want to count the years at this stage of my life.
It's been a few.
It's been let's just call it over 2, less than 100. And when you've known somebody that long that's done an incredible job of literally deciding that they want to go create content for fun and turn it into a career, seems like a pretty good arrow in the quiver to go to get some information on for sure. So that's why I'm here.
Yeah. So let's have the content creation talk here. Obviously, that's something that I'm ultra familiar with. That's what I'm doing with a large part of my days, and that's kind of what you've started moving into.
It's funny. One of the things I learned from, I think you through, and might have been through some stuff that you learned from Gary Vee. And actually, it might have been just Gary Vee himself. Actually, I take that back. You know what? I think it was from Gary Vee. It was talking about one of the companies that I was working for previously had the benefit of him being one of our keynote speakers for one of our sales kickoffs.
Yeah,
and
I watched. He published that keynote, by the way. I watched it.
Oh, did he? Yeah.
It was a good one. It was a good one.
And one of the things they talked about was don't wait to create content. Like, just create it. Just go do it. Like, record something and put it out there. Like,
that's all the equipment you need.
Exactly correct, right? So that's kind of the approach that I've taken. I definitely used to be a paralysis by analysis guy because I didn't know how to do something perfectly. I decided that I was going to wait till I knew how to do it perfectly, when the truth of the matter is you're never going to do it perfectly and you're never going to get better unless you do it. So it's kind of this self-fulfilling prophecy of like, well, hey, I'm not going to create anything because I'm not great at it. Well, you're never going to be great at it if you don't do anything with it, right? So
the easiest way to improve your content creation is by creating terrible videos.
Correct, 100%. And so we're like,
every time you flip on the camera and hit record, you're going to get a little bit better every single time.
Yeah, 100%. It was funny because I was watching a doing this for a couple of months now, not a super long time.
Right, so you've been with Blackpoint Cyber for a couple of months.
At this point, yeah.
Okay, and you've been creating content for basically
probably let's call it 4 to 6 weeks.
You're helping grow brand, right?
Correct.
That's kind of that's the main overarching charge.
My job is my technical job is called, I'm the director of business development, but what everyone calls me is the brand evangelist. So my job is to go and spread the good news of the gospel of Blackpoint Cyber. And some of that's going to be LinkedIn content, some of that's going to be training videos, some of that's going to be partner enablement, right? Those kinds of things. However, it's funny because I remember doing webinars and stuff, and it's so funny because I've got my setup at home and everything like that. I got my computer that I'm recording to. They sent me a whole bunch of cool equipment, which is great. I mean, it's professional stuff, but it's not necessary. I think that so much of the LinkedIn content that's out there that's unpolished is extremely undervalued. I think it adds more of a personality type feel to it. Like you said, hey, I just pulled my phone out and took a quick little impromptu video. People love that stuff, right? It's genuine.
It's more organic, right?
Exactly correct. Exactly correct.
Feel a little bit more like a human being that way. Somebody that you can relate to a little bit more.
Sure. And with all of that, I found myself in this spot where it was just yesterday, actually. I ended up watching I don't know if it was my first video that I ever made, but I mean, it was up there. I mean, and it was so much different
in the low single digits
than the last one as well. And it's just, I mean, I was trying to be so polished and trying to be, at a green screen with this thing in the back. And I was like, and it was the funniest thing because that's so not who my persona really is, but it was something that I was trying to be. So some things that I've learned is just kind of be myself. I think that was something that is huge. Just be who you are. People can tell when you're not being genuine. The second thing that I learned is that it doesn't have to be perfect. There's a lot of really cool free products that are out there, OBS or Open Broadcast System or something of that nature. Software.
Open Broadcast
Studio, great. Whatever the 3-letter acronym is, we love those in our world today. But OBS is great. That's a pretty powerful product that's completely free. What else was there? There was DaVinci Resolve has probably been like my biggest savior. The free version of that, it is unbelievable what they give you in that right there.
If you're willing to put the work into editing your own video content, personally, I work on a Mac. I use iMovie. It's free. It's simple. Right. I do a bunch of talking head videos. I don't need anything crazy. I could probably move into Final Cut or something like that if I wanted to get really creative with an edit. I just don't feel a need to right now. But
same here.
If you're not on a Mac, or if you just don't want to pay for editing software, you want to use something that's a little bit more universal, DaVinci Resolve is the place to be. Even if you want to build editing skills with your sights on being a professional editor someday, Hollywood uses Adobe Premiere Pro and DaVinci Resolve.
Right.
That's what's used in the business, so to speak. So starting on the free version of DaVinci Resolve is going to take you a long, long way.
It absolutely will. And honestly, that's kind of it. I mean, I get comments all the time on how professional my videos look and how great everything is. And I'm like, dude, I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. And I am spending literally $0 on the software to be able to create this. And I think that's probably been the most eye-opening thing here is that literally you don't need to be ready to do anything. You just need to do it. And you will get better. So I think that's kind of the stuff that's been awesome.
And it's fun. It's fun to see because I obviously pay attention to your stuff on LinkedIn when you post it. I try to support, and it's fun to see when a new video of yours rolls across, and I'm like, hey, he straightened his camera. The vertical lines on the frames in the background are running straight up and down now. Oh, there's not quite as much room above his head now.
Right.
He reframed things a little bit. It looks good. He's still talking a little too fast. On camera Justin is still a little quicker than off camera Justin. You know what I mean? But it's a lot better than it used to be. And you've been here in my we call it the studio. It's the good old CGS, corner of the garage studio, to record some stuff for your church every once in a while. And that's always the challenge that you've had, and it's the common challenge that everybody has, myself included, is to just slow down and be more natural. Even when I thought I got really good on camera, one of the best things that I did was start taking one-on-one voice acting lessons with a professional voice actor. And I started those about 6 months ago, meet with him about once a month, and he tosses some scripts my way, and I'll record I'll take my best of the best reads, of the scripts, and sometimes they're commercial reads, sometimes they're character scripts, sometimes I'm doing voices, and sometimes I'm not. The different things. Like, it's just trying to, like, voice acting really gets me out of my comfort zone, because I'm good at talking about what I know about. I'm good at talking as myself. But once I have to talk like a stupid dumb rock, it gets me way out of my comfort zone, and that's kind of the point. And the first piece of advice every time he clicks play and listens to one of my reads, it's take a breath and slow down. Talk like you're talking to your next door neighbor. Talk like you're talking to a friend across the table. Even when it comes to the commercial reads that have 8 million words that you have to get out in 30 seconds because it's going on the radio and that's the time slot, you can get it done in a much more natural cadence, and you don't have to rush through it, because that definitely comes through. And I think a lot of people, as soon as they hit record, they're trying to be the on-camera version of themselves, not realizing that the best on-camera version of yourself is the off-camera version of yourself.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of what I've learned through that experience, is just you can always slow down just a little bit more.
I mean, that has been feedback for my life, to be really honest with you. So maybe when I enter my 40s here in a couple of weeks, I'll actually finally start taking heed of that and slow down in my 40s. You know what I mean? But
I don't see that on your horizon. It's okay.
Hey man, I'm basically DJ Khaled, my guy. All I do is win, win, win. No, I'm just joking.
And another one.
That's
so what have you been having trouble, not necessarily trouble with, but what are some of the challenges that you're still facing right now? Things that you might be looking to make improvements upon or change, or maybe just something that you haven't quite figured out that you think we can figure out?
Yeah, I think probably like a big piece is really trying to figure out like how all the different pieces of content come in together, and how to strategically schedule those different pieces of content on top, and then understanding the call to action or the intent of that particular piece of content. So, for instance, we run webinars, which are more like prospect facing. We run like a product called Black Point Command, which is more thought leadership. It's no real sales in it whatsoever. We run a podcast as well, which really has nothing to do with cybersecurity. It's just more about living life excellence. So we have all these different pieces of content. And then we've also got stuff like LinkedIn videos. And then we've got stuff like, all this different stuff that trying to figure out, okay, we have this machine that we're trying to get information out on. Well, how do we schedule that? What's the point in scheduling that? What are we trying to accomplish? And then creating the content in a place to where you're actually 3 to 4 months ahead of where you are today. That's kind of the goal. Like, I feel like today I should be working on my podcasts and my webinars for like February.
Gotcha. Okay. So when it comes to content scheduling, it's going to depend on the topic that's being discussed. Sometimes you're talking about evergreen stuff that can be worked on months ahead. Sometimes you're talking about things that are a little bit more time sensitive, because that's a thing. Maybe you reserve the time sensitive stuff for more quick hit type of videos that you post to LinkedIn and the socials. Maybe those are the 2, 3, 4 minute long. Those are the things that you can record easily and publish quickly. And then the longer form content is going to end up being more podcast driven, possibly webinar driven, things like that. I would really suggest bucketing content by topic. And then that is going to make it clear to you what you can work on in advance and what you can't work on in advance. I know in the mortgage industry, I can make a video about mortgage payment calculation and publish that anytime I want. I can make a video about the 9 steps to home ownership and publish that anytime that I want. But a day or two ago, when the new loan limits for 2023 were released, I'd hit record, say something, edit it real fast, and publish it as quick as possible, because that's something that's on a timeline. That was late breaking
Right.
news. It was new information. All the mortgage and real estate people out there know that it didn't really matter anyway, because who cares about higher loan limits when interest rates are high and affordability is crap during
Right.
the holiday season when the purchase market is slow anyway. But you still got to put that information out there, because it could
Yeah.
save a couple of loans. It could help a couple of people. And it's probably going to help next summer when the purchase market picks back up. But
That makes sense.
but regardless, when you have most of the stuff that I've seen of yours that finds my feed is on LinkedIn, and maybe it's something about a recent cyber attack that your team has identified and solved for. I like those quick hit videos.
Yeah.
Those are really good. When it comes to podcasting, schedule it out in advance.
Right.
That's fine, because
Yeah.
certain conversations are going to be about topics that live and breathe. This isn't my only podcast. I have a podcast under my AFN banner also called Fly the Flag. That's more of a strictly mortgage show.
Mhm.
I have 4 episodes of that sitting on my desktop right now, just waiting to edit and post. We post those once a week. It's a very consistent cadence. They usually go live on Thursday mornings. We had one go live this morning, and I don't feel bad for saying this morning as a Thursday, because this show is for me to just talk at a camera or hop on with somebody like yourself, and I'll just post it real quick.
Right.
I like, this is my personal stuff. It's kind of a creative outlet for me. I bring some value to some industry professionals and things like that, and I don't need to worry about a consistent schedule and things like that. But on the podcast that I do for the company that is on a consistent schedule, we absolutely schedule those out as quickly as possible.
Makes sense.
If there's a piece of time sensitive information, those are done more on the fly. So I see where you're going with scheduling content. It would be really easy to have a singular rule of create a ton of content and post it out into the future,
Right.
Pre-creating content, but it can get tricky with stuff like that, because you don't want to find yourself in a space where 6 months from now you're sitting on content that you're posting that you're unsatisfied with because you feel that it's old. You might feel that it's dated. You may have improved on camera in the last 6 months, and that might not be an accurate reflection of you anymore or the brand. There may have been a refocus or something like that. So I would say schedule it out, but tread lightly on setting hard boundaries for that.
Yeah, I see your point. And I'm definitely thinking, like, you can't get too far ahead. I agree with that, right? I was thinking somewhere probably more around like the 2-ish month. Like I said, I mean, right now if it's December 1st, I should be thinking February 1st, kind of a deal, right?
I don't mind that at all.
And then maybe creating February's content in January. So like I should be thinking about January in November, and right now I should be worried about creating January's content for January, kind of a thing. But so like I feel like kind of like that sweet spot of, hey, let's have a Monday, Wednesday, Friday cadence, or maybe it's a Tuesday, Friday cadence or something.
Sure.
And we do these certain things, and this is what we can do. So there's some sort of uniformity, but then also the quick hits as well seems like a pretty reasonable way to go about it. And then also
I use the vertical videos for my quick hits these days. My quick hits tend to be recorded vertically. I try to keep them at 60 seconds or less. Sometimes they stretch out to 90 seconds, but I'm posting those daily. And a lot of people hear daily and they think, oh man, that's a lot. That's a whole lot of content. I'm going on 43 days in a row since I started my push with the short form video content. And whenever somebody says, how do you come up with content to post daily? my main message is don't be afraid to say the same thing over and over.
Right.
And that I did get directly from Gary Vee. I consumed so much of his content and heard the same damn message so many different times and said so many different ways. But like, if your truth, if what you're really passionate about is like 3 things, say those 3 things over and over and over again. Because if you think that everybody is going to watch every piece of your content, you're a lunatic.
Right.
There's always going to be new people finding you. And you can't expect that new person who just found you to go back into your back catalog and watch everything that you've ever produced. That's silly.
That makes sense.
They're going to follow you from then on. So if you said something super valuable that you truly believe in, like 3 weeks ago, and you don't do any more content on that because you already did it, then the people that have found you within those 3 weeks and in the future are never going to hear that from you. Mm-hmm. So every single week, again, mortgage guy, every single week, I post a piece of content about how you don't need 20% down to buy a house.
Right. It's true. I see that.
Still, 50% of all Americans surveyed, there was a survey run last year. They surveyed over 100,000 people. 50% of everybody in America still believes you need 20% down to buy a house. It's crazy.
Yep. Yeah.
And it hasn't been that way for decades. And then the other piece of content that I make every single week is how when a mortgage lender qualifies you for a mortgage, that's not how much you can afford.
Right.
Because they're using your gross income, not your net.
Right.
And they're using the debts that show up on your credit report, not your utility bills and streaming services and the cost of gas and food and entertainment. They don't look at any of that stuff. So it makes it easier to qualify for a house, which is great. But they're probably qualifying you for more house than you can actually comfortably afford. So just kind of know that, take control of that situation, and set your own budget. Get qualified. Got to do it. Makes sense. Get your quotes, get your payments, but then set your own budget. So if I'm posting for 7 days, 2 of those days are figured out every single week because I'm just saying the same thing again. And then there might be something about new loan limits or help for first-time home buyers, or I'll run some sort of a different calculation. 1 week I did, hey, if you improve your credit score from 660 to 680, it would drop your interest rate by this much. Over a 30-year loan, that turns into this many dollars in savings. The next week, it was, well, if you raise your credit score from 690 to 700, this is the difference that it makes. Or if you put 5% more down on that investment property purchase, it lowers your rate by this much and saves you this much money. It's just, so I know that every single week, I have to create 7 pieces of content. I usually shoot them on the same day. I'll edit them the following day, airdrop them to my phone so I can post from wherever. And that way I'm preloaded with 7 pieces of content to post for that week. And I post them on all 5 platforms.
Yeah, no, that's good. I think that's all super good feedback. And man, I want to say thanks so much for this talk today. It's definitely been helpful for me. I think I've got a couple of really pointers. Hopefully this has been helpful to some other people as well. And yeah, man, I'm looking forward to implementing some of these things and trying it out. And just like I said, just going to keep pushing out content for sure.
If anybody wants to see your stuff, where can they see it?
Right now, it's pretty much going to be on LinkedIn. Feel free to ping me. Just search out Justin Weller or Mr. Weller 82, all one word. We also have some cool stuff on Black Point Cyber's YouTube page.
They're coming for you in the background, dude. What's going on?
What's that?
They're coming for you in the background.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's definitely something going on. I'm staring at a very busy street out this window right now, as a matter of fact. So they're running the ambulance and fire trucks, but yeah. So yeah, no, like I said, Black Point Cyber on YouTube. We've got some really cool content there as well. I mean, some of it, but yeah, that's where you're going to really find a lot of the stuff. But a lot of my stuff's right now on LinkedIn.
What is your brand's message?
What's that?
What is your brand's message? If you could
My brand's message, essentially this. We want to be the thought leader when it comes to cybersecurity. We don't want to just be somebody that's going to protect you and have good software and a good team. That's kind of table stakes now. We want to be able to also be able to be a thought leader for what it is. And I think that that's one of the big pieces for content creation, which is essentially providing value, right? Like that's the thing. I mean, I think that's the key focus that I know about content creation.
Yep.
Create things that have value and people will consume it. And really what we want to do is we want to be able to create value for people out there. The CEO and founder of our organization, John Murchison, was in the NSA for 12 years, tip of the spear kind of stuff, like things where like if he was successful, we had no idea that anything happened. So with all of that being said, he was able to see that there was all kinds of crazy stuff. Like I never thought that we would be in a spot in life where like businesses literally need to worry about like Russia and China, but they do, and that's where we're at. So we've taken basically a NSA grade cybersecurity mentality and brought it down to the small to medium business level, and that's really what we want to do. But not just that. We love sharing information with other vendors. We love sharing information with the community. Really, yes, we want to protect you, but more importantly, we want to educate you to be able to protect yourself as well.
Who are your clients? Are you
great question?
Actual companies,
that
corporations, or
cannot answer. Yeah, so I can't be specific,
okay.
but they are.
Obviously,
they are.
Yeah, no specifics. I'm talking like if somebody has a company who has cybersecurity issues right now and they're looking for protection, do they contact you or do they contact one of your clients?
Yeah, they can contact me directly. We'll get you in contact with the right people to be able to do it. I mean, we really focus on small to medium sized businesses, really IT service providers in the MSP community. We do have some larger enterprise, some pretty big names that can pretty much guarantee that you would know. But we don't market to them. They know us and came to us kind of thing. So, but yeah, if you have some questions, you need some cybersecurity stuff, feel free to just go ahead and reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'll make sure to get you in contact with the right channels of people to get yourself taken care of.
And I want to circle back to one thing that you mentioned earlier because I want to get your take on it. I'm sure you've had internal conversations with the team about it and stuff like that. You did mention CTAs within your content. I have opinions about CTAs, but I want to hear yours. When it comes to calls to action in particular, are you trying to include a CTA in every single piece of content? Or
not
are you
kind of.
I know the Gary V strategy is more jab, 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 right hook. So you give, then you ask. And I know that CTAs are an art. At a certain level, because if you're including a hard call to action in every single piece of content you post, they kind of just start feeling like a bunch of commercials sometimes. Yeah. So what's your take on that stuff?
I mean, again, I think that's where you've got and this is where I kind of lean more towards the Gary Vee side of the house, right? If you're providing good content and good value and you're positioning yourself as a partnership, like, hey, listen, I'm giving you something, but I'm not giving it to you because I want something. I'm just giving it to you because I'm giving it to you. And I think that's where the art form kind of comes into play. Like, I want to give you something. However, if you would like to know more, this is how you get more. Click on this link, do this thing, watch this video, buy this, you know what I mean? So the fact is this, I'm not the kind of person that believes that you should just create content without purpose. I think that there should be some sort of purpose behind it, and the call to action should mirror that purpose. That's kind of where I sit on it.
Now, we lost this part of the conversation, about 2 minutes of it, due to some audio issues on my end. I'm not sure why, but we'll get those ironed out in the future. But I wanted to include this because I feel like it was important. My current perspective on calls to action when it comes to content creation is kind of platform-based. So when it comes to YouTube, I feel like I really need to give value in order to include a call to action. My YouTube videos are going to be a little bit more long-form. Stuff like this, things that are going to be 2, 3, 5, 10, 15 minutes and longer. And if I really feel like I'm providing somebody some valuable information or education on something that they can't just go and get anywhere from the simplest of Google searches, then I will ask for a subscription or a like or to click whatever buttons there are down on the bottom of the YouTube window. But when it comes to the short form content that I'm posting to the socials like Instagram, Reels, even YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Twitter, different things like that, I'm only including a CTA maybe 20% of the time. I'll tend to stick to mentioning the website once in a while, but not all the time, in order to make sure that my content doesn't sound like a series of commercials that get published every single day. That's the last thing that I want personally. Sometimes I'll toss in the DM for details quote, but for the most part, I give the viewer credit that if they're active on the platform, they know that they can DM for more details. Obviously, when it comes to Instagram, TikTok, and any other social media platform out there, the people that use the platforms more often know how to use the platforms and get a hold of people. So I really don't feel the need to include CTAs all that often. If the call to action was necessary, then maybe the piece of content wasn't that great to begin with. If I'm providing enough value through my content, I feel like the people who want to reach out are going to reach out naturally.
Right.
They know how to click
you
on somebody's profile and go to the contact info. If they really want to reach out for more contact info or for more information, they know how to do that. The platform makes it easy enough for them to do that. That's the stance I'm taking now. That might change in the future. I don't know.
Yeah. I would probably say I think I like your take on the platform side. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's different on the platform because again, but I think that also goes to what I was saying a little bit as well, as far as like the aligning to the purpose of it, right? So like most of my stuff is on LinkedIn right now. Clearly, I'm marketing to businesses and creating brand awareness to businesses. So that's
the place to be for B2B communications.
Right.
There's no better place. Are you doing any paid? Are you doing any paid on any platform?
No,
I tried
yet.
Paid on Facebook and failed with it. I don't know.
It's really hard. It's like really, really hard. But I'm also not responsible for that side of the marketing stuff. What's super cool about what I do is my job is just to create dope content. I let smart people figure out how to get people to. Exactly. So I mean, I'm definitely blessed that I've got a solid team of people that know what they're doing, and my job is just to be the voice. So that's kind of neat. But yeah, no. Circling back to kind of finish and round this conversation out.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it has to do with that, but I think that a lot of it also has to do with. Again, what the purpose of the video is, right? I mean, if I'm presenting a webinar, or hey, if I've got, we've got a white paper that came out because we identified a brand new ransomware group that we wanted to get out to everybody as much as possible. Well, I'm going to give you a quick 30-second video on it, and then hey, click the link to download the white paper. That's my call to action, right? Like that kind of stuff. So, I don't have like a one size fits all rule. Like you have to have it on every single one. But I can also see the argument for it as well, right? I mean, it's kind of like you're taking your time and providing something. You should be getting something back for it. But at the same time, if you do that every single time, you're right. And I think that the other piece that I agreed with was, hey, smash that like button and click that follow link and the little red bell. Like, I think that stuff's great, but I feel like it's better after you've given them something. I agree with you. When I can't think of a single time that I've watched a YouTube video that started out that way and I was like, oh, that's right, I should do that. No, do I even want to be alerted to your stuff? Like, give me something. Tell me that I want to know about your stuff. And then you can ask, right? So that's what I would say.
And the notification bell especially, because you're asking somebody to allow a notification to pop up unwarranted in their face on their phone every time you post a video. You got to let people know why that's valuable to them.
Right.
In order to do that. And can we all agree, please, for 2023, we're going to stop smashing the like button. It's taken too much abuse. I'm a fan of the like button. I feel like it needs a break. Let's all start gently pressing the like button in 2023.
That's so funny.
Can we do that? Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. Well, that's about it. I'm gonna stop recording anyway. I'll keep you for a couple extra minutes, but let's fade you out in applause as you deserve to be. Thank you, Justin. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.